Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Off the Wall with Cody. I'm your host, Cody Wall. On this Tuesday evening, we got a good show coming up for you folks. We're going to have two interviews this week. One from a player who's going to be attending the camp, the upcoming Brick Hockey Tournament that's going to be taking place at the end of June from June 28th to June 3rd for the 2011 born players, and then June 4th to June 10th for the 2012 born players. And that player who's going to be in attendance for the 2011 Winnipeg Junior Ice is number 97, Brock Vodden. I got a chance to speak to Brock and get his excitement level coming up into the tournament. Got to know him a little bit too. Brock is a young man, 2011 born, playing for the Manitoba Jr Ice as well as the Manitou Tigers. And then our second interview is going to be from the coaching standpoint. We're going to hear from the coaching standpoint of Trevor Edwards, coach of Team Pennsylvania. He is going to be behind the bench for both their 2011 and 2012 players. Got a chance to speak to Trevor and get his insight into hockey in the Pennsylvania area, as well as what's going on with the Team Pennsylvania Brick. Trevor currently working for the U.S. PMC Lemieux Sports Complex as a skill development professional. We dove into his coaching past as well as his excitement coming into the Brick tournament. Before we do send it to those interviews, last week I had a chance to speak to Brock Vodden's teammate, Dane Wooby. Dane, another great young man who has a bright hockey future. He wears number 58 for those Manitoba Junior Ice for the 2011 age group. And he talked a little bit about his skills and some of his strengths in his game. You can find that last episode on our YouTube page or Facebook page, as well as our website, amateursports.tv, under the sports shows dropdown, as well as finding my past shows. You can find some of the other shows that we're doing on ASTV. I do believe before my show on Tuesdays, there is an On the Ice show with Theo that takes place on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. And Tuesday edition is, like I said, right before my show. We also have a AAA hockey show, a prospect show, and as of our recording, I believe we are in the process, of launching an Indigenous sports show, which is going to be, from my knowledge, going to be run by Mark Kincaid. Mark, welcome to the ASTV team. We've had the chance to call some of your son's games when he has been playing in Pilot Mound against the Pilot Mound Buffaloes. And speaking of those Pilot Mound Buffaloes, those Buffaloes are one of this show's sponsors, and we're going to send it to a quick commercial break from those Pilot Mound Buffaloes.
Welcome to Pilot Mound Hockey Academy, your world-class academic and hockey training facility created to maximize each student's athletic and academic potential. Blackjack Stewart Arena, home of the Buffalo, is inside the 46,000 square foot complex, as well as a curling rink and other facilities. The students have a unique combination of successful, well-rounded education at Pilot Mound Collegiate Institute and the professional hockey training in an encouraging community. The years of experience of on-ice coaching propel our students to the next level, both mentally and physically, in a professional environment.
And that's the Pilot Mound Hockey Academy, a place that I've kind of got a chance to call home over this last year, just with calling a majority of their games through the U15, U17, and U18 girls. And as mentioned a couple of weeks ago, the Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy is adding a new team to their list, a U18 men's team. So, going to be able to spend a little bit more time in Pilot Mountain this upcoming year, calling some more Buffaloes games and doing what I love, getting a chance to watch some hockey. So, definitely an exciting time for Pilot Mountain, exciting time for ASTV that we're adding another team to cover, and exciting for me that I get a chance to kind of expand my horizon on the calling of these hockey games. Definitely a uh, been a eventful year for me. That's for sure. Just under a year ago, reaching out to Glenn Mumford and kind of just dipping my toes in the water to see if I would be able to do something like this, calling hockey games, and now doing a sports show online like I am currently. Definitely a lot of things can happen, but enough of me rambling. We're going to send it to the reason you guys tuned in. We're going to have our interview with number 57 from the 2011 Junior Ice, Brock Vodden, after this commercial break. And I'd like to welcome on our next guest, gentleman who's going to be attending the upcoming Brick Hockey Invitational Tournament in Edmonton starting in late June. Number 97 for the Manitoba Jr Ice, Brock Vodden. Brock, how are you today?
Pretty good.
That's good. Let's dive into it right away. How was this past season for you? It looks like you played with the Manitou Tigers.
Yep.
Yeah. How would your season go with them?
Pretty good.
Yeah, you guys do pretty good in a lot of your tournaments and such?
Yeah, we got second in the first tournament that we had.
Okay, nice. You get a lot of goals?
Yeah.
Yeah. The gentleman who kind of set us up here, Harry Hebert. Do you know Harry?
Yep.
Yeah, Harry said that you're quite an offensive player, saying that you like to get a lot of points. That's true?
Yep.
Yeah. Who would you say you model your game after?
Probably Connor McDavid.
Connor McDavid? Yeah, that's not why you wear the number 97?
Yep.
Yeah. Looks like you and your teammates were selected for the team 2011. You guys have been waiting for a while, over a year to be exact. How have you guys been able to manage your excitement leading up to this tournament after waiting all this time?
We were working out and doing all that stuff, so get you ready.
Do you guys practice quite a lot? Like, how many times a week do you with the team Manitoba Jr Ice do you guys get together?
Usually 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, and that's all. Is that all on ice, or is some of that I had seen through looking at the Instagram page? You guys do have some Zoom meetings together.
Yeah, sometimes we do Zooms to check in on everybody, and sometimes we're on the ice.
Yeah. When checking out the Instagram page, when they named you to the team, uh, they had quoted saying that Brock is a tall kid with good speed, nice hands, and a terrific shot. And statistically, his NHL comparable is Alex Ovechkin. That's got to feel pretty good to,
Tiles and my net's starting to get a lot beat up.
yeah, almost time to tell mom and dad that you need a new net.
Yep.
What else do you work on when you're outside other than just your shot? Do you have a little training area kind of set up of obstacles for you to get around and kind of work on those great hands?
I have a training ladder, that you set on the ground. You can do a bunch of drills with your feet.
Okay, getting those quick feet, that explosive first step.
Yep.
So it looks like, obviously, with COVID, there had been a bit of a short seasons. It looks like I said, you were selected last year to go to the Brick tournament, which unfortunately was canceled. But looking back in 2019 and 20, playing for the Manitoba Extreme, you had picked up a number of points in your 15 games, 26 goals, 21 assists. That's a pretty good number for a young guy like you.
Yep.
Yeah, how was that experience? Obviously, playing against the high-end talent back in 2019, and even leading up to the tournament, or leading up to this tournament. I know you guys have done a couple of tournaments in Toronto and Winnipeg.
In 2019, we won one gold medal in Winnipeg.
Okay, who did you guys beat to win the gold medal?
I don't know their name, but I think they're somewhere from Saskatchewan.
Oh, okay. How about I had talked to Dane Wooby a couple of days ago. I think he's one of your local teammates as well as a teammate on the Winnipeg Junior Ice. He was saying that you guys have had some tournaments in Toronto and actually got to attend a Blue Jays game. How was that?
It was pretty good. Not too good for Dane because he was sick. But right after he left, I got a ball.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you end up getting it signed by anybody?
No.
No. So, do you play baseball as well as Dane? I know Dane was mentioning he plays baseball in Manitou as well. Do you?
Yep.
Yeah. What position do you play?
I play first base or pitcher.
Yeah. You got a pretty good arm.
Yeah.
That's good. Also, when kind of setting up this interview, your dad had said that you're an avid golfer. You guys are actually going golfing after this, I believe.
Yeah. We have lessons.
Okay. Who do you get lessons by?
We get it by my uncle and my other uncle. Kind of funny to have them as a teacher.
As a coach, yeah. That would be fun getting to have a family member be your coach. Has your dad been one of your coaches growing up?
Yeah, for hockey and baseball mostly.
Yeah, and you enjoy having your dad coach you there. It's always it's fun to have him there helping you along.
Yep.
That's good. So, have you made a lot of new friends on this Brick team, or with playing prior years with the Manitoba Extreme? Have there been a lot of the same guys that you've kind of got to just kind of expand that friendship with?
Well, I mean, we only have 2 new players to our team for the Brick team because everybody else played on our Extreme team before. The 2 new players were Sully Taylor and Maddox Boutet.
Okay. And you guys, the whole group kind of just took those guys in and made them feel part of the group as soon as they came in?
Yeah.
That's good. Are you kind of one of the leaders on the team? Obviously, statistically, you're an offensive threat, but are you one of the guys who's kind of leaned upon in the quote unquote tougher moments or the dying moments of a game?
Sometimes I can be. Not too many times though.
Yeah. Looking over some of the rosters of this upcoming brick tournament, there's a lot of notable names for coaches, and looks like the 2011 Junior Ice is no different. What's it been like? Looks like your coach is JP Vijay, ex-NHL NHLer JP Vijay. How has that been having him as your coach throughout this process?
Good. He teaches us a lot of new stuff, and it helps us. Like one time we were letting in so many goals in Toronto, and then he told us about getting into a smaller box, and we weren't letting as many goals in as we were.
Do you find it easier to? I know when I was young, sometimes when your parents tell you something, it doesn't really register the same as when somebody else who you maybe have a different. You view in a different way, such as a role model like a ex-NHLer. Do you find it easier to listen to the words of him, a guy such as JP Vijay or Coach Vijay?
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of knowing that he's had that experience kind of helps with your just understanding, I guess, the fact of he knows what it takes.
Yeah.
So now, before we end off, we'll turn our attention to current NHL a little bit. You had said that your favorite team was Edmonton Oilers?
My team was the Jets at the start, but then I kind of switched over to the Oilers because I started liking Connor McDavid.
Oh, okay. So they're the team you cheer on for a nightly basis, and you said McDavid was your favorite player. What do you like most about his game?
I like his quick hands and his speed.
Yeah, he's really been quick. He's really, at least in these past couple games in the playoffs, he's really shown why he's the number one player in the world and is really a great player to look up to.
Yeah.
What do you like about your game, or what kind of comparables do you see between you and Connor McDavid?
Probably my speed and my quick hands and my dangles.
All right. And last question, and I may already have an answer for this. Who are you cheering for to win the Stanley Cup this year?
Probably Colorado or Edmonton or Tampa.
Yeah. Okay. I thought you were going to automatically pick Edmonton. I definitely hope Colorado can do it as well. They're a team that I think would be great to see.
Yeah.
Well, Brock, I want to thank you for coming on and doing this interview with me. I look forward to hopefully speaking to you down the road when we meet you in Edmonton. Hopefully, we'll be doing a player of the game interview with you after one of our broadcasts. But until then, good luck leading up to the tournament. Good luck in your baseball and good luck in your golf lessons.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Brock. Have a great day.
Yeah, bye.
That was number 97 for the Manitoba Jr Ice, Brock Vodden. Great young lad. Got a chance to talk to him. We're going to send it to a quick commercial break and come back for more Off the Wall with Cody.
Why go solar? Solar is better than ever. Our revolutionary design and inverter equipment with the latest in solar panel technology for the ultimate in-home and business security. That's right, I said security. Grid security and security of your home are linked. Fortify your future today with a battery backup system. No maintenance. Quiet running. Did you know in Manitoba, grid-connected, off-grid, and battery backup systems are 100% right off in the year you purchase for any company or farm? Do you want to back up your internet, keep your tills running, and the lights on? We can install a system that is right for you, with battery backup fully capable of taking on all those essential loads and keeping you running. When you call our experts at Evolve Green, ask about getting your free energy audit today. Call or email today to find out what system works best for you. 1-866-5EVOLVE or support@evolvegreen.ca. Also, be sure to check out our website at www.evolvegreen.ca.
And welcome back. That was Brock Vodden from Manitou, Manitoba. Like I mentioned, great young guy. Going to be interesting to watch him as an offensive player, see what he can do going against a bunch of the elite players of his age group. Obviously, he has had a chance to do that in the past. As he mentioned, he's played in a couple of these other spring league tournaments where he's been able to accumulate the points. But now turning our attention to our next interview, this next gentleman has a lot of hockey experience behind him. As mentioned, he is working for the UPMC Lemieux Sports Complex in Pittsburgh in partnership with the Pittsburgh Penguins. I've had a chance to speak to Trevor Edwards, who, as you guys are going to get a chance to hear, started his coaching career with the Honey Baked U14 team in Detroit. And after having good success there, was recruited to go out to Pittsburgh and now currently work for the Team Pennsylvania. We'll send it to a quick commercial break and come back to my interview with Trevor Edwards.
And I'd like to welcome our next guest, one of the coaches for the upcoming Brick Tournament at the end of June here, Trevor Edwards from Team Pennsylvania. How are you doing today, Trevor?
I'm wonderful, Cody. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Tell me a little bit about yourself. How long have you been in the coaching game?
So basically when I retired from playing 2007, so I've been coaching youth hockey since then. Feels like a long time, but it's definitely a passion. I was in Detroit before, and then now I'm in Pittsburgh and coaching. This will be the fifth season that I'll be coaching the Pennsylvania Brick team. So it's feels like time flies.
Yeah, I had noticed doing some research. Actually looked like just before you had came over to Team Pennsylvania, a couple years before, you had won the USA Hockey 14U National Championship with the Detroit Honey Baked team. So definitely a big accomplishment there. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I was very fortunate to have a really gifted group in Detroit that I worked with for a lot of years. The 2000 birth year there was extremely strong, not just my group, but all the other teams in the Detroit market and Chicago as well. The Midwest was loaded those years. So got to coach a lot of great hockey players and work with a lot of great coaches with a great club, an organization that gave me a chance in AAA hockey and to kind of learn the ropes. And it was great to cap it off at the 14U level with a national championship. It kind of led me to where I'm at today, to be honest with you. So the guy that I coached against in that game was with the Chicago Mission, Brian Mueller, who is now the executive director here in Pittsburgh and was the one that brought me here to Pittsburgh. So it's a small world.
Yeah, definitely. I know the Detroit Honey Bake team is definitely one you hear a lot about from players from the Michigan area playing for that team. So definitely you being able to coach kind of a team that has a bit of a prestigious name in youth hockey, definitely a feather in your cap.
Yeah. It was, again, just fortunate for me. It makes, good players make good coaches sometimes. And, it was a lot easier to try new things when you had a lot of talent to make up maybe for some of the mistakes you made along the way. But I was very, very fortunate. Larry Knapp, who was the longtime general manager there and with Detroit Honey Baked, brought me in when I was young and didn't have a lot of experience in the coaching world and gave me a chance. And I got to learn from a lot of great coaches. And it was a lot of fun to be there at Hazel Park in Detroit and coaching all those young players. And I went from the 2000s and I had the 06 group at the start as well, which we, got to see those kids from when they were mites, and they were 5, 6, 7 years old, develop and grow. And we had a handful of them make the U.S. development team this year as 06s, which is really cool to see them progress and have a lot of success. And then I had 09s there as well. So I've kind of, got to see quite a few age groups and be, with a club like that was awesome. And then try to take what I learned and bring that to Pittsburgh. And that's, what I've been trying to do here, with this growing hockey market is try to take some of those things that I learned in Detroit and replicate them.
Yeah, just you talking about watching some of the players that you've coached kind of move their way up the ranks. That's got to be something that's very fulfilling when you do coach kind of the elite young players like you did with Detroit Honey Baked and now with Team Pennsylvania. It must just be, like I said, so fulfilling to see the players that you've made an imprint on go on to play now in the development program and so on in other junior ranks, kind of making a name for themselves.
Yeah, 100%. And Cody, I think one of the most rewarding pieces is seeing, the players that have an unbelievable skill set and are at the top of their birth year, helping them learn certain things to help them be successful is great, but their skill level, sometimes the coach, you're just giving them smaller tips and their skill takes over. Then you have kind of your next group of players that have great skill level, but they're going to have to persevere through some tough times and some ups and downs in their careers. And if you can help them develop and keep that passion to keep plugging along and fighting for what they want, those are the ones I think that you even take even more pride in sometimes a coach, right? You've maybe had an impact on their life that'll impact them forever. And I was fortunate to have quite a few of those types of players too. I think we ended up with, off that particular team, I think we had 16 D1 players, move on. And then several that went through the OHL as well over their times. And, kids that maybe weren't at the top of the lineup back then are playing Division I college hockey now, and still competing and playing and hopefully going to play, someday at the highest level that they want to play at, or maybe be successful in life, beyond even hockey. So it's kind of neat to see that stuff happen and, and just pretty cool.
Well, and that's great to hear. That's one thing about being a youth hockey coach. You're not just there to educate the players on the on ice, but it's also so important to have a good mentor, somebody who's there for you off the ice as well, not just focused on the on ice performance, but there to help sculpt good young men. And that's something that it sounds like from listening to you, Trevor. That's something you take pride in, not just being the guy there, the drill sergeant, putting them through the motions, but also taking time and getting to know your players. Really seems that you have a bit of a personable touch with your players.
Yeah, that's why we do it. I mean, that's why I got into this when I got done playing. Was I just thoroughly enjoyed, working with the young children and helping them develop and love the game. And, I was very, very fortunate to get an opportunity to do this for a living. And, an opportunity here in Pittsburgh to try to help young athletes, that maybe would take up another sport. Even here in Western PA, you got football and baseball and other sports that are huge. And a lot of our top athletes have chosen other sports over the years here. And I think we've got more players here that are choosing to play hockey at a high level. And I'm hoping that I can be a positive influence on that decision. And if they love this sport and want to learn and play it here, to me, that's the most fulfilling piece of it. And year after year, we think we're developing more and more great young future hockey players. And, hopefully some of them will come back and coach and do what the rest of us have done when they're done playing. But for now, we're really focused on continuing to just grow, the game here and develop the highest, level player we can.
So you've always been in the youth hockey. Have you you've always been in the youth hockey. What's one of the struggles you've kind of found, maybe opposed to coaching the junior A or additional higher levels with coaching these very skilled, but so young and raw young players? What's one of the difficulties in trying to get through to them sometimes?
Well, so the younger levels, obviously there's a patience element that comes to it. And I think that, understanding and having a little bit more of a teacher's mentality to it, right? That you have to look yourself in the mirror a lot more as a youth, especially a younger youth coach, on how you're getting through to your players, right? And I think that the coaches that show a higher level of patience and can work with the young athlete to find a way to help them understand what you're trying to teach them are the ones that have success. I think the ones that try it their way and their way only, and they're typically the ones that have a little more frustrations with younger players, because kids just learn at different ages, different levels. Their maturation's different, right? You might have a 7 or 8 year old, but they're really 6.5, from a developmental side, and you have to be able to communicate to all of them and then convince them why it's important to them, right? They're egocentric at a young age. They care about themselves. How do you convince them to care about the team and care about learning what you want them to learn? And I think you have to build that relationship to do that. So the older players, I think you can be a little more firm, like you have something they want typically. You still have to build a relationship with them and convince them maybe why to change, but they're a little smarter. And that's one of the nice things about my job. I do get to work with the older players here in the building too, at the Excel Hockey Academy, teaching that. I also scout for the USHL in Dubuque with the Fighting Saints, which is so I get those connections with those older players as well a little bit. I think that helps me with my younger players. So it gives me some good perspective.
Yeah, you definitely have a wide hockey background. Just bringing it back, like you said, you did play Division I hockey with Clarkson University from 2000 to 2004. And then after playing 3 years in the UHL with Port Huron Beacons, you definitely have a lot of your own experience making your way around hockey, not to mention, your junior as well as your minor hockey. And then as well, you had mentioned you've been a scout with the Fighting Saints for now looking back since 2016. Just a bunch of connections in the hockey world has kind of helped you get to where you are today.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what this is. I mean, if you look at any career path, right, the relationships you build along the way and the network you build helps you with all of those opportunities. And, that's, I was very fortunate to get to play the game for a while and go to college and get a university degree and meet a lot of great people. I was very, it was, awesome to get to play some pro hockey after that. It was a tough year when I came out of college. It was 2004 during the pro lockout, and there wasn't a lot of jobs to be had. I was very fortunate that an ex teammate of mine from junior hockey's father was coaching in Port Huron and remembered me from playing on his line with his son and wanted me on his team, gave me a chance. And it's actually kind of funny that how these things turn full circle. As I was at the Brick tournament with the 2000 at the Nines a couple of years ago, and his grandson was playing for Team Minnesota. So that was my first pro coach, and now he was there as a grandfather watching his grandson play.
It's always great to see when stories can come full circle like that. It just adds an extra little bow to the story. Now, you telling that on my show here, it's an interesting tidbit that that you were able to connect with him again so many years later.
Yeah, it's and more we're seeing that. I had another ex-teammate's son play for me at the Brick with the 09 birth year as well. A guy, Jason Jaworski, who's in Des Moines, Iowa. And we played together in Port Huron. And there's a lot of those connections that go back, and even the connections, several of my players, our imports that we do with Team Pennsylvania, we get 3 of them. We've been, about 2, on the 11s and 12s, we have 2 players from Ottawa on both teams. And we had 2 2010s who didn't get to go from Ottawa as well, which is where, I grew up. So there's some connections back in the Ottawa area as well that we've, been able to use a little bit to try to add a couple top end players. Hockey is really a big network, and I think if you do things right and try to be honest and truthful and just do the best job you can with people and kids, people remember that.
Turning our attention to this year's team, you as the coach, what would you say your team plays more of an offensive game or a bit more of a defensive, let the opportunities come to you kind of game?
So obviously we have 2 teams going this year. So we've got our 2012s and 11s. The 11s will play first. A little bit different teams. So the 11 group being a year older, a little more experienced. They're a little more offensive driven, a lot of speed. They like to, defensemen with skill that join the rush. We're a very tenacious group, but we play, a real north-south game, and we try to attack, especially off the rush. So it's an interesting group. It's probably the most skilled group that Team Pennsylvania has brought from top to bottom, but they've also had an extra year to develop with the COVID year. So, be real interesting to see how they get after it. The 2012 group, a little bit different, and they're a traditional, birth year where they just finished their first year squirts. So they're a little less experienced overall. They're a little bit more of a defensive minded group. They're a group that's going to have to check well and take time and space away from the other team. And I think if that group does that, we do have some really intelligent players on that team. So that's kind of and I would say that if we have a strength, it's our hockey IQ. So the group, possesses the puck well. They make intelligent plays and they can skate. So I think it's a group that's going to be kind of a pain to play against. And we'll see, we'll see how we compete.
Those strategic teams always hard to play against. But you had mentioned that 2011 team getting kind of pushed back with that COVID year. What have you, as the coaching staff, done to kind of keep that excitement level at bay as these players have kind of been chomping at the bit now?
It's a great question. And that's, the players from the 2011 birth year have been going through our pre-brick and this process now for like 4 years. So it's, they were lucky to get to go to Edmonton, to Vegas last year. So we went to Las Vegas with the group as kind of a U.S., final spring tournament where they got to play the other U.S. brick teams. So they were all there. They were pre-brick. Obviously, the teams hadn't finalized all their rosters, but, it was as close to a brick level as we could get with the circumstances that we were under. So they got a little taste of it there. But I think for the group coming together this year, they're just really excited to get back there and to take on these top teams and see kind of where we're at. Like that's the core group. We have about 10 players from the Pittsburgh area, and then we've got players from the Philly, Lehigh Valley, Columbus, and then up into Ottawa and Toronto. A couple imports. I think that this group believes in themselves and believes they can compete with anybody. So it's they're just hungry. We haven't seen the Canadian teams now in a number of years. So getting the schedule, we got Montreal first up right off the bat. We know how skilled that Montreal group can be. We're excited to get after it. We play both pro hockey and the Bulldogs in the round robin. We're excited about that challenge, and win or lose, we're gonna. I think that group is determined and that they're going to get out and just play hard.
Is there, obviously there's two teams, like you said, from Team Pennsylvania. Is there a player on each team kind of that we should be watching out for when ASTV is covering the tournament there?
Yeah, that's always tough as a coach. We're trying to build we always talk about being a team first type group,
For
but
sure.
we do have some highly skilled players. You'll see both the 11s and the 12s. I think that the 11 group, you're going to notice players like D'Angelo Flume, he's a big body. He's got great skill level. He'll pop. He just kind of, and then you'll notice defensemen like Cameron Pelly, who super shifty, kind of takes on a little bit of a Cale Makar type style. He's hard to contain on the blue line. He joins the rush. Little guys like Jack Carlson that fly around. We have a bunch of those a little bit undersized forwards on the 11 team that can absolutely fly. It's basically the 80% of the roster. Like you'll probably sometimes have a hard time being like, hey, who's that guy? And they look similar at times, but they really can go. And I think in the smaller rink, that small area skill set and the speed will be a real challenge for other teams. They'll feel like there's 6-7 Pennsylvania guys sometimes on the ice, So the key for that group will be see if they keep the puck out of our own net. That's you play these high end teams. That could be tricky, The other groups have skill too. So the one player that I would say that'll be interesting for you to watch, because having both birth years there, we do have a 2012 Braden Pearsall that plays on the 11 team and will also play on the 12 team the week after. So he's a real cerebral, intelligent hockey player. Plays with our 11 birth year here in Pittsburgh. This is really his first, tournament endeavor with the 12 with his own birth year. He had a lot of success last weekend. We had a tournament here where we played Minnesota and Detroit and some of those other teams, and he was a difference maker. Just plays a very mature style. Like he's a 200-foot player, and you guys over the course of the week, I think will call his name a lot and kind of fall in love with that type of hockey player.
Well, I look forward to hopefully getting the chance to speak to him after games. Going to get a chance to, like you said, I guess, get to speak to him over the full 2 weeks with seeing him for both the 2011 and 2012 group. Just with the team, you said they've been kind of together for now 4 years. Must just be a real tight group. The chemistry must be just through the roof for the camaraderie must be just amazing.
Yeah, it's in some of the pictures you kind of see in the background behind me, a lot of those kids are in there from their mite days, right? So, and I think that the players that we added to the roster from other areas, whether it's from the Philadelphia area or Columbus or Toronto or Ottawa, they fit like a glove to the kind of that core group. But we do, while building a brick team from majority of one area can be very difficult from a skill standpoint sometimes, it also has that advantage of having that team chemistry, right? That they know what to expect. They kind of know where each other are a lot of times on the ice. They play a style that's in sync, together. So that is an advantage. But for them, they also recognize the challenge of maybe being a little outgunned skill-wise compared to maybe some of the more traditional all-star teams, right? That only have a couple players from each team. And that's going to be a challenge in itself. So that 11 group, though, it should be interesting to see them compete. And if they can take advantage, the 12 group has to come together a little bit more because they haven't been together as long, and see if they can build some of that chemistry over the next couple of weeks here before we get there.
Well, I want to thank you, Trevor, for coming on. I do want to have one more question before you go. Do you want to give a shout out to some of the other staff members that have been helping you out? I know I saw a couple of names through doing some research. You want to give a shout out to some of your assistants and other coaches?
Yeah, for sure. So Hunter Mueller will be on the bench with me with both teams. And interesting kind of spin back to one of your earlier questions. So Hunter played for the Chicago Mission 2000 team. And so that 2015 game, he was on the other bench, unfortunately for him. But, I remind him of it sometimes. Hunter's an awesome young coach that has a ton of passion for the game. And a real good mind for the game and really works hard at it. And he's excited to come to Edmonton. This will be his first trip to the mall and to see this tournament. He was with us last year with the pre-brick programs in Vegas. So really excited for him to get to come. Mike Chesson is the general manager. So he does a lot of the behind the scenes work. And Mike has been to Edmonton several times. He's been the GM of Team Pennsylvania for a long time. He does a lot of the hard work behind the scenes. And that, I think for Mike, sometimes he doesn't get the reward of coming, on the trip to the tournament because he's got goaltending stuff to do here in Pittsburgh. He's expecting his first child too here soon. So he, congrats to him when by the time he sees this interview, I'm sure he'll have a young one. So, but he's a real, big and important piece of this program. He's done a lot of work to get it to the level that it's at today. So, but yeah, and then the rest of the staff is, they I got Toby Nenavisa and Matt Wynn and my stepson Caden that they all help out during all the pre-brick stuff, all these things. I mean, it takes an army to coach these groups. We have 3 teams going during the spring and we handle all of them. We try to give everybody a great experience here with Team Pennsylvania. So thank you for letting me to say that stuff too.
Yeah, no problem. And thanks, Trevor, again, for coming on. I look forward to seeing you in a couple of short weeks when we do fly to Edmonton, and maybe we'll get a chance to talk in person when we're broadcasting Team Pennsylvania games.
Absolutely. We'd love it, and can't wait to get out there. We'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks, Trevor. Have a great day, and we'll see you then.
Thanks, Cody. Take care.
Thanks. That was Team Pennsylvania coach Trevor Edwards. We're going to send it to a quick commercial break and come back for more Off the Wall with Cody.
Welcome back, everyone, for our final portion of tonight's Off the Wall with Cody. That was a great interview, very insightful, getting a chance to speak to Trevor Edwards there of Team Pennsylvania. Great to get to know him. Look forward to meeting him when we do head to Edmonton in a couple of short weeks. I want to thank you all for tuning in today for today's Off the Wall, and looking forward to next week's Off the Wall when I get a chance to speak to the Team Detroit Junior Red Wings head coach, Chris Osgood. Going to get a chance to speak to him some later on this week, and I will be able to put that interview, run that for you guys next week when we air again. But till then, thank you for watching, and I want to give shout out to all our sponsors, AETI, Case Financial Group, Evolve Green, Pilot Mountain Hockey Academy, and Tovey Hockey. And as mentioned before, you can find our shows on YouTube, our Facebook page, Twitter, on our website under the Sports Shows drop-down. But for tonight, I'm Cody Wall saying good night and thank you for watching.